Philadelphia, I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gargano Show!
Good morning. Happy Thursday to all across the Delaware Valley. It's the Anthony Gargano Show. I can't take it! Why? Why would you draft a kid that's 6'2" who can't play with your best player? Why? That makes no basketball sense to me. You're drafting a role player. Now, I'm hoping that there's something in the works. There has to be something in the works. I don't understand the fit because I don't think McCain can play with Maxey for long stretches. You become completely vulnerable defensively. It just boggles my mind. All right, this is the Anthony Gargano Show. I'm sorry. I've been railing like this since last night. I did not sleep. I'm wearing my Charlie Manuel shirt, all right, because Philadelphia's for homers, the Citizens Bank Park, and me, because that's my lot in life, rooting for these teams. Ugh, these Sixers put you through it. They just torture you. They have tortured me and Violations Greg for 30, 40 years. And some of the old heads, they've tortured their whole lives. Oh, yeah, we're brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY. Stop into your local branch. Learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. All right, let's get to it. So last night is the NBA draft, and I think they have a gift waiting for them with Dalton Connect from Tennessee. At first, I kept waiting for the trade. In fact, if you saw when the Sixers were first on the clock, Adam Silver says we have a trade. And it was like the T-Wolves, I forget which one it was, but it didn't have anything to do with the Sixers. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, there's the trade. Because why would you spend $4 million on a rookie? I don't understand it. Now, when Dalton Connect falls, I'm thinking, well, you know, I guess he's falling because this is a copycat league, and these GMs they want teenagers, right? Like they want youth because they keep thinking upside. It's been like that forever, from Darius Miles, right, to you name it. Every Michael Jordan wanted it. Let's go with the kids. Let's go with the teenagers. And they ignore guys that can actually play, who come out of college fully ready to play. I used to call them half-baked pies, the kids that would come out after 1 or 2 years. It's very rare that you get, a KG. How many do I have to tell you that, right? It's very rare that you get those kids that can blossom. Even like a Lou Williams, who didn't go to college, right? Was going to go to Georgia Tech, didn't go. Sixers take him. It took him a few years to get his sea legs in the league, right? Like it's a rarity that those guys pan out. Let alone this draft where it's really difficult. I thought Morey was trading the pick. It just made more sense. If you're trying to win, you got to trade the pick, because as much as I would have preferred Dalton Connect over McCain, to me, it doesn't matter because it's not about rookies, right? It's not about rookies. If you're really trying to win right now, assemble a team is going to win. The wars in that league, in the playoffs, it's a different beast. It's a different animal. Do I need to bring you back to this past spring, and Madison Square Garden, and the first couple games of that series, when the Sixers lose those tough games, and they lost because, let's face it, the moment was too big for them. They shrunk. Especially that one game, they shrunk. We saw Buddy Hield, remember? Before he kind of woke up. I mean, he was tight. They were tight in the Garden. you're not going to win by adding rookies to this roster. Now, listen, do I think McCain can play? I think he's a terrific shooter. I think he's got some promise, right? He's 6'2", listed, probably closer to 6'1". I don't understand the logic because McCain and Maxey can't play together. Like, I think go small. You can't go small. You're too much of a liability defensively. I mean, you could play spurts like that. And by the way, off the bench, Maxey plays 44 minutes. Like, you need Maxey on the floor. So I just don't understand the logic behind this pick. And listening to Maury last night, and he's like, well, he was at the top of he was in the top 10 of my board. The board is irrelevant, all right? In the NFL draft, you have a big board. You need a big board. You have 22 positions that you're looking at. I'm not counting special teams. You're looking at 22 positions. You got to have a board for roster construction. Like, just do. In the NBA, you got a rotation. If you're lucky, that's 7-8 guys. And then you want your development and that sort of thing. Your board, especially when you look at it now in the NBA, it's got to be about who flows with whom. What's the fit, right? What's the fit? Can I get a wing that's going to play alongside Maxey and Embiid? So when Maury says, he's the top 10 on my board, I think that's irrelevant. I think that's nonsense. I need you to tell me who fits with my team. I don't understand. You got to look at your players and go, well, is a 6'1.5" 2 guard, and he's really a 2 guard, going to play with my best player who's an undersized 2 guard? Come on. I don't understand that. I don't get it. Now, I like Dalton Connect. I know he's 23 years old. I get it. He's 6'4" and change, you want to call it. He could play the wing. He could shoot. Tremendous, ridiculous athlete. I would have been happy with that. I think you can make that work. I still don't think you win with rookies. And now the chasm between the Celtics, it's like you're on the Eastern Conference island, right? And in the elite island, you have the Celtics, and now you have the Knicks. And that's the elite island. And then you're way offshore. And to get to that island, there is shark-infested waters, all right? Like, you can't get there. You need to figure something out. Now, again, I'm frustrated, but I have to allow myself until Monday to see if he's going to trade McCain, to see what else they have in store. They have to have something else in store. And again, I think the kid could wind up playing in the league at some point. He's got to be on the right team, right circumstance. I think the kid could shoot. No doubt the kid could shoot. But again, he's not a fit on this team, and not for what you're trying to do, which is you're trying to win. So I'm giving them until Monday and to see what this thing looks like. But right now, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I look at them and I go, I kept waiting for the trade, and I didn't see it. I don't know. Is he stockpiling for Paul George? Is that what he's trying to do? I don't know. There has to be something else. And if there isn't anything else, and McCain is what they're drafting, I think that's a terrible mistake. Just a colossal mistake. Just because of you got a 6'1.5" 2 guard, and your best player is your 6'2.5" 2 guard. I don't understand. The combos. Now, Maxey's more of a combo than I think McCain is. I don't get it. They frustrate me. This team has frustrated us for decades. And so why should last night be any difference? That's Popping Off, brought to you by Ollie Pop. I need Ollie Pop and whiskey.
Lemon lime and
Jay
Hennessy.
threw Olipop today at Wawa, has it, and it's great. You'll love all the flavors. My man VG loves it. JP loves it. Good morning, guys. John Zapata, Greg Caputo. What's happening?
Guess it's a Buenos Dias. I don't know.
No, let's go back to Bo Diaz. No, listen, guys, help me out. I need some help today because I'm trying to look at it from a basketball logic sense.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, he seems like a nice kid, right? Sweetheart of a kid. Like, really, like he's crying, he's happy, he's a joyful soul. God bless him, right? I don't know where he fits.
I'm with you. That's right where I'm at. When we selected him, I like him as a player, but that's the first thing I thought of. Like, so what's he going to play? What's his role going to be exactly with Sixers? Because he's a small guard. We already have Maxey. Like, so my next inclination was we're going to trade him tonight, right? Like, we picked him so we can trade him, and then the night goes on and nothing happens. So we'll see at the end of the weekend, but it's definitely a head scratcher, cuz.
I mean, he can't stay here. There has to be a trade coming.
There has to be, right?
There has to be.
I mean, we
There
always
has
say
to be
this.
a trade. There has to be. It just belies logic. If team building, you're building a team. There has to be a trade.
Yeah, or they run small and they play no defense at the guard.
Well, you
position.
can't. What? Imagine how you would get eaten alive at the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, McCain's not even a great defender.
No. And Maxey's not either.
No.
I mean, what are you doing? That's my point. There has to be something. Please tell me.
I mean, I'm looking
that there's something big in the works.
There has to be. I mean, other than that, you got to look for sunshine. The New York Post gives him a grade of a B+. Firepower off the bench for the contending 76ers.
Please don't aggravate me. I'm already aggravated. Firepower off the
quick
bench.
Release, high basketball IQ.
He's 6'1.5", dude. What off the bench, right? Maxey plays 44 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he fit in?
Yahoo Sports, one of the best shooters in this draft. Sixers know exactly what they're getting from him as a reliable shooter who competes at a high level.
Oh my God. Cuz is about to Yo,
Why are you doing this to me?
Cuz is about to destroy this whole studio.
I thought you were a friend of mine. I thought you were my friend.
I'm trying to help you.
All right, so let's
You're
look.
not helping me, all right?
Friend of the show, David Murphy, smart basketball guy.
Yeah.
There have been 2 freshmen in NCAA history with a 6'11" true shooting percentage, more than 210 three-point attempts, and more than 150 rebounds. They are Jared McCain and Steph Curry.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. Again, where does he play in relation to Maxey? So I already could tell you the kid could shoot. I know the kid could shoot. I know he could shoot. I watched him play in college. I know the kid could shoot.
So here's
But
my.
where does he play on the floor? And how does he fit in?
So I mean, the hypothetical. So if he hypothetically stays here, right? You pair him with Max in that backcourt. This is the next problem. So your 3, and your 4 need to be big, and you need wing players. And this is the thing that we've struggled with Sixers Nation. We haven't had solid wing players. We can't find these guys. So if we hypothetically, if he's here next season,
there is no like you're right, JP. Like you can't play, but they can't play up top together. Like it doesn't matter about size. Like if my front court is bigger, it doesn't matter. You'll get abused matchup wise because you have 2 non-defenders up top who are small.
Yeah,
what do you think Brunson would do to? You saw him cook Maxey. What do you think? Makes some sense. Like, come on.
Maxey McCain going to get in foul trouble before the second half.
It's not even. Oh God, there has to be another move. There's got to be something else.
I mean, Morey can't be this incompetent. He just can't be.
And then
I can't believe it.
And then I got excited. I'm sure you got excited too when I saw the picture on Twitter where Joel Embiid followed Larry Markkinen. So I'm thinking like, all right, something's gonna happen here tonight. There's
Listen, was I pipe dreaming? Yeah, I was pipe dreaming. I was pipe dreaming. Like when you said that, you sent it to the group. Somebody sent it to the group.
Yeah, I think it was Vince.
It was you or Vin, whatever. And I saw that Embiid follows Markkinen, and I go, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe is that it? Like, that would be fantastic. Like, he's exactly what you want.
Why else would he fall out of nowhere?
Listen, who knows? maybe he's got some kind of deal up his sleeve. He has to. So I'm trying to not. I got to give it till Monday to see what the grand plan is, right? Because there has to be a master plan. You got day 2 of the draft tonight, so he's got to have something up his sleeve tonight to do. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, if he's just sitting there, I got to give my cursory press conference last night, and he goes, well, he was top 10 on my board.
The big board, cuz the NBA big
Best
board.
player available. People are saying we did need a backup point guard. You do, but you need a little size, a 6'4", 6'5" backup point guard.
Hey, but he's not a point guard.
No.
He's not a point guard.
No, he's a guy with an average handle who shoots lights
right.
out.
His handle's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's not a great facilitator. He can shoot the ball.
Yep.
God bless him, can shoot the ball. That's what he can do. That doesn't fit. You don't need that.
Glenn says guys need to relax. They had to pick someone Duke can flat out shoot.
They didn't have to pick someone.
Again, I know he can shoot, but he's not a fit with Maxey, Glenn. Like what don't you get? He's not a fit with Maxey. That's why there has to be another shoe to drop. There has to be. There's got to be. First of all, there's going to be other trade. He's got to make trades because you got to fill out the roster. There's a ton of work to do. So you got to fill out the roster. So there's going to be trades. But please, don't try to justify the pick, because if the pick is not for a trade and the pick is for this season, for them going forward, then it's a colossal mistake, and you'll never convince me otherwise of the way unless you're just going to blow it all up.
There would have to be a class action lawsuit by the fans if he does not trade this pick. If this guy's just here, unless he's thinking into the future. We had yesterday. We talked about Maxey may get disgruntled and want out of town.
Okay, if Maxey leaves, I leave. All right, like if you can't keep Maxey happy, who is one of the nicest athletes on the planet, like who is the anti-NBA superstar, he's always joyful and he loves if he leaves, seriously, there's no reason to stick around.
What do you think Maxey and Embiid say right now? Like with what's going on around the league?
They know there's got to be something else.
I mean,
they know there has to be something else.
But I don't know. Obviously,
Embiid. Listen, Embiid is one of the smartest.
For sure.
It's very interesting because Maxey is one of the sweetest, nicest, happiest athletes I've ever encountered, and Embiid is the most intelligent. Embiid is a really, really smart guy. And he's savvy, and he also understands the league, and he understands the makeup, and he understands the business of it all. He's got to be in the know. Like he's got to think that there's something else.
So we still need a whole team. We need
that's
defense.
the point.
We need boarding.
You do need a whole team. So the fact is, you have so many assets. You have money, and you have so many picks, right? So you got to translate. You somehow have to cash in whatever picks you have to fill out a roster and your money. And here's the other thing: when you do that, are you landing a big fish? Like how much are you spending? Like how many? That's why he's got to be part of a trade.
Oh my God.
So is it Ingram? Like I'm not familiar enough with the Pelicans roster. Does Jared fit with the Pelicans roster? Is it a need that they have?
Yeah, I mean, was it Alvarado's their starting point guard over there?
Well, he's not
He's
a
like
one.
A shooting guard. So they got Trey Murphy the third.
He's a two. Listen, they could be blown like that. That thing's a disaster. Zion always hurt. He got hurt again last year.
Right.
I mean, who knows what they're going to do?
Wow.
Maybe it is they're looking to move him to New Orleans so he could spread the floor.
Yeah.
There has to be another move. But let me throw this at you because we haven't really discussed this yet. Now, again, let's put aside that somebody who likes McCain and wants to trade for McCain.
Mm-hmm.
Dalton Connect.
I mean, Either or because the beginning of the draft, I didn't want to pick anyone. So like
Well,
to me,
I agree with you. You want to trade, you want to get veterans, you're looking to win. But tell me, Dalton Connect, when he fell, I got excited.
yeah, everyone at Garage was getting excited as well.
Yeah. Everyone at the
Everyone thought it was
watch
gonna
party
connect.
was packed last night.
I know.
And everyone was waiting for the Connect pick for the Sixers.
And then of course Woj drops the Jared McCain 16 overall, and then we're all like, what? Really?
And
Listen,
can we all be that wrong? Because I mean, we watched him. Even if you don't watch college basketball all year, you watch the tournament, and the kid's he looked like a player. He's the best player on his team. He's double teamed almost the whole game. He still scored. You couldn't stop the kid from scoring.
Dropped 32 against NC State when they got eliminated in Elite Eight.
So it's like, what are we all missing here? That these front offices
It is
are
a
watching
crapshoot.
tape.
We
on
always
this.
talk about that.
but here's the thing, though. Did you miss when we all wanted Warren Sapp and we all wanted Randy Moss and nobody wanted the fireman, right? Like, come on. There's been draft after draft in every sport where the consensus was right. I think these GMs fall in love with the age and they think about upside and they look at, well, he's 23.
Like, this is a ceiling, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is how they messed up. We talk about, we spent yesterday or the last few days talking about McHale, right? Bridges. So think about that for a second. Bridges, they couldn't fathom him having upside. They didn't see the upside. Tyrese Maxey dropped to the Sixers. All right? Tyrese Maxey. Here's the lesson, and it's Maxey. I remember the draft, and I go, oh, my God, Maxey's available? How's that possible? First of all, you know Kentucky players make great NBA players, right? Like, they just do. They always translate to NBA players.
Yeah.
So Maxey's just, like, I don't care they didn't make the tournament that year or whatever the disaster had. Because there was no tournament because of COVID. Who cares? Like, you can look at, if you're an NBA, you're a brilliant NBA guy, you can see that Tyrese Maxey can play. He's faster than anything, and he can shoot. What more upside you want? And yet, he lasted, so the Sixers ragged out, got lucky, and he fell into his lap. Why can't Dalton Connect be Tyrese Maxey 2.0?
Slow white guy? I don't know. It doesn't translate?
First of all, he's not slow. Second of all, he's a tremendous athlete. And he's strong as all get out.
Yeah, I didn't understand the drop. I thought he was a top 10 pick. But
again, they look at these kids and they're looking for this big, massive upside. And they think, well, he's 19, he's going to grow. He's 18, he's going to grow in his body. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. I think that's what's in their head. And sometimes I think they miss the obvious.
And Edey was a surprise, too. Like, I don't think he could play at this level.
I thought he was a second rounder.
Yeah.
I thought Edey was a second rounder.
Right.
I'm thinking, he can't defend.
No.
How is he going to defend?
He can't. That dude is slow. I mean, he looks slow in the Big Ten.
Well, he's plotting. He's a massive kid.
Yeah.
He's plotting. I didn't get that a little bit. But Dalton Connect is not slow. Dalton Connect is a baller. Like, he's a player. He was also a focal point on your team who created his own shot, who was getting blitzed. Right? Like, don't you want the guy that in a big moment in big time college basketball is getting blitzed and still dropping 30?
Yeah.
He's speaking too much.
Like, that's why I think they overthink it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do, cuz. We always overthink these
No,
things.
I'm not you. It's the GMs.
Yeah.
It's personnel people. I don't know. He's 23. He's reached his ceiling. I mean, come on. Who's to say you can't get better from 23 to 27? I've seen it 1,000 times. There's 1,000 guys that got better from 23 to 27.
Yeah. I mean, I was just befuddled. And these guys, I just have to believe. I know they're wrong a lot, but there's a lot of people wrong with if Connect comes out to be a player. There's 14 people wrong, I guess, GM and front offices. I don't know. We'll see. He looks like a plug and play guy. He looks like he comes out and gives you 15 minutes and contributes right away.
Though. This was dud of a draft.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It was.
Right? Like dud of it. And listen, it was fun. I was talking to my buddy Boo, and Boo sent a text to the group, and he goes, I watched 1,000 college games. And he's like, I know half these kids.
I'm the same.
Like
I love college basketball.
I know, like we it's not like you check in, right?
Yeah.
Like, I check in here and there. I watch the tournament. We watched like regular season, Pac-12, Horizon League, right? You're watching Drake, right? Like, you know what I mean?
I'll watch it all.
Like you're like whatever. It's bad. Like it's sports. Like you're seeing kids, you see the whole thing, and so you're plugged in, man.
It was like watching the Major League Baseball draft. No idea who these kids are.
Right.
Well, now you got to watch Euro basketball because 3 of the top 10 were from France.
I know. Listen, I mean,
It's an international game.
Listen, in some ways, the Euros have equaled us.
Yeah.
Like they play the game differently. If forget it, and they have it used to be this, right? Like USA basketball and then the Euros, right? And now it's even, man. The way they play, look at Luka, right? Like we talked about it the other day about Luka going up against men, right? At 17 years old.
Yeah.
But what's crazy about France?
Thunderdomes.
Right.
But what's crazy about France is besides Tony Parker, all they produce is big men. And just obviously nowadays,
Wemby,
all
yeah.
these athletes with handles, but all these big men are just lanky and athletic. It's crazy what's going on in France.
It's all over Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's all over. It's the game. The game's fascinating when you think about the bigness of the world and that you get those athletes.
I'll tell you what, cuz if the Sixers keep doing what they're doing, I'm gonna become a Euro fan. Ditching the Sixers. A la Madrid.
Oh God!
Can he become a Donovan Mitchell?
Again,
would Mitchell fit here? Would you be okay if they traded for Mitchell?
I
To
wanted
pair with
Mitchell
Maxey?
a couple seasons ago.
I'm not a Mitchell fan.
What happened in Cleveland?
I'm not a Donovan Mitchell fan.
I know.
I don't think that works.
No.
I don't think it works.
Yeah.
I think he has a stink to him too.
I think their biggest issue is you got to get fit. The whole thing's got to fit together. Yeah. I don't know what kind of optionality they have. You talking about optionality last night. I don't know. And only he does because he's the only one talking across the room. I don't. And I got to tell you, at this point, I'm shook because I have not seen any proactive moves from Morey.
No.
Like trade deadline, look ahead. I haven't seen anything. So I don't know. Obviously they're going to make moves to fill out the roster, but I don't know what's next.
He does feel like a step behind of what the rest of the league
It does. It just feels.
Feels like a drunk.
Yeah, he's just drunk making
I'm
picks.
serious. When you see him, he looks a mess. He just puts on a blazer over a ratty old T-shirt, and he thinks he looks professional when they interview him. It's like, come on,
Listen,
Daryl.
I don't mind eclectic. It's like,
Hinkie was eclectic.
Listen, you could paint your nails, all right, and you could do TikTok dances like McCain. I don't really care. If you're good at your job, right, then I don't care. You're eclectic. You dance to your own beat and film it. But whatever it is, I don't really care. Are you good at your job?
Yeah, because if he stays here and he has one bad game, that's what this whole entire series is going to go.
Well, that's another thing too. He's an entertainer. Like you don't have 2 million TikTok followers like McCain does and not be an entertainer, right? Like that's his thing.
He's got more followers than the team does.
Right?
Sixers.
No, it's unbelievable. Think about that, and that is also something that you need to take into account, right? Like this town doesn't have patience. All right now with the Sixers.
No.
There's no patience with this team. None. There's no patience.
And I'm not saying he's a Ben Simmons, but we've seen the guy here who wants to be an entertainer and a celebrity more than a basketball player. So we're a little weary of that.
Well, of course. And so what do you think is going to happen? Like, he seems like a nice kid. Like, God bless him.
Yeah, super happy.
Right.
Maxey vibes, smiling.
Joyful, right?
Yeah.
God bless him. But there's a lot of pressure. Like, you're going to come in here and nobody wants to see you dancing after another loss. Like, people don't have that patience. Listen, you got 2 titles on your belt,
Dance away.
right? People love it, like dancing on my own, right? Like, all of a sudden they'll do it. People will be doing it with them. But you kick it out of the second round, nobody's looking for TikTok sensations.
I hear
That's
that.
another issue that we haven't even broached about that sort of pressure that's going to be out there. All right, we got to tell you about a couple things. Let me tell you about Dr. Andy Cohen, Sleep Healthy PA. Dr. Andy Cohen. So he has stopped the snore. His mission in life is to help people stop snoring. Sleep apnea is just horrible for your health. Imagine a garden hose, right? And it's got a knot and you can't get that air through. It's just like that, man. And so people use a CPAP. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't fully work. Well, Dr. Andy has a way to ditch it. And he has a way to cure your snoring and your sleep apnea. He's a dentist by trade. And so his deal is he opens up passageways. All right. He uses laser therapy, dental appliances to fit in your mouth that will open your passageways and make sure you get restful sleep. All right. I'm sure at this point your girlfriend, your wife's going, stop snoring. I can't do it. And there's fights and she's leaving or you have to go on the couch. You don't want to do that. You just want to see Dr. Andy Cohen. Go tell Dr. Andy I sent you. SleepHealthyPA.com. SleepHealthyPA.com.
Awesome stuff, cuz. All right, guys. Listen, the weekend's right around the corner, and I know you guys want to forget a little bit about the Sixers just like us. That's why, guys, when you're thinking about what to do this weekend, we got some great events. The Phillies are back in town with the Marlins for a 4-game set. So you got plenty of stuff to do. You need tickets. There's only one spot. It's the Game Time app, ladies and gentlemen, all right? I love this app. Number one, it's free. We all love free. And number two, it is super convenient for buying tickets for any type of event. And heads up, guys, I was just looking at some of the concerts that are coming up here in July for all my music fans. We got Willie Nelson coming to town. We got Kid Cudi, Olivia Rodrigo. We have Blink-182 all coming in July. So it's going to be a jam-packed July for all my music lovers out there, including, obviously, we got baseball and soccer going on as well. So you want to make sure you guys have that Game Time friendly right on your phone there, all right? Download the app here today. Check out some of the prices. You know, what I usually do is I'll go down there, head at Xfinity, maybe, drink a couple, buy the car, a little tailgate action, right? And then right before the game, I'll go right on the app. I'll see my seat that before buying, I'll have a perfect view of what I'm going to be looking at for the game. And then I'll see all the fees, everything before the checkout. You go on some of those other competitors, you hit the checkout page, you see like $200 worth of fees. No, that's not with the Game Time app. You'll see exactly what you pay before you hit that checkout page. It's super easy. It's convenient, stress-free. That's what we're talking about here today. All right, so take the guesswork out of, and of course for all my baseball fans, take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the app here today, create an account, and then use that promo code PHLY. This will get you $20 off. Guys, $20 off your first purchase of tickets. Guys, that's beer these days, okay? That's crazy. So again, terms apply, create an account, redeem the code PHLY, $20 off. So guys, for your next event, sport, concert, whatever it may be, use the Game Time app. It'll help you.
All right. Well, thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. It's 9:30 across the Delaware Valley. We're brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. And it's time now for the brain. Oh, we don't have the brain yet? All right. Well, let me. I don't know. I think it's brain time. Brain. By the way, it's Bet Park's Thursday. Fighting's back home. Miami. So we get the Marlins. Wheeler on the mound. Check out the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app. Check out combo bets like $25 on the Fightins and over 8 runs pays $35.75. Bet the first 3 innings, first 5 innings, the whole game. Bet your favorite sports on the Bet Parks app. And now play live baccarat, live roulette, also several different live blackjack games. Play them all right now with a live dealer right on your phone with the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app, plus hundreds of exciting online slots. These you got Zeus, fantastic fireworks, Lucky Cherry, all the action and excitement from the casino right at your fingertips. Safe, simple, easy to use. Bet Parks, the only app I use and recommend. Odds, bets, slots, games right in your pockets. In fact, new users right now, download the app, get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. BetParks.com is all the details. Got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
How about VG yesterday? 2-1 or
2-1 yesterday. Yeah, I mean my corner kicks. I love soccer corners.
He
kicks.
loves those corners.
Just bet the over in corners.
That's all he does.
Corner parlays.
Corner parlays?
Yeah,
They have corner kick parlays?
Yeah, you just pick a corner total over under from each game. You parlay them.
Are you serious?
Dude, it's a blast because goals are so rare. So corners happen way more often. So you're excited over corners. Anytime there's action, you just hope there's a shot that gets deflected and goes off the back line.
It's crazy.
You know what's funny? I have to admit, right? So I'm watching the draft, and I was getting bored with the draft.
It was.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't really care for it. I didn't as a product. I usually love drafts. I love drafts.
Oh, yeah.
And I was getting bored with it. And I was clicking. My buddy Tooch was over. We were clicking back and forth. Mexico, Venezuela. And it was thrilling.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They're a fun story.
It was actually thrilling.
You like underdogs? Venezuela.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. Like, it was actually, I actually found it like fun.
Los Tintos. Well, listen, for everyone in Philadelphia, you got to root for Venezuela because our own El Brujo Martinez from the Union represented. Breaking up fights.
Listen, that's awesome. I have a buddy of mine, Oscar, who's from Mexico, huge, right? Dude, it was like a big deal.
Dude, it's bad over there. And talk about passionate fans. Those Mexican fans are super passionate, and they're losing their minds.
I got to tell you, and again, I was clicking back and forth, and I don't know what it was. What I guess it's familiarity with the NBA draft and G League. Yeah. When you got G League guys going,
right? You never see the G League guys
a lot of the foreign kids. Why is it? You know, it's fascinating. Is even in Philadelphia, the NFL draft is huge, right? Mm-hmm. And I love college football. I watch it all. I consume it constantly. I write notes during the season, players I like, just so I can go back, after the season and look at them. And I know what guys I want to see tape, the whole thing. We're not a college football town, yet we love the draft. Why is that?
We love the NFL.
Yeah, it's football. The NFL does a great job of making it feel like a big event, almost like an awards show, like an Academy Awards. They make it seem larger than life. It's fun. They have players come out and make picks sometimes. There's always familiar faces. I don't know. The NFL draft just feels like a giant party. I'm not a huge college football guy, so once the top 10 picks are gone, I don't know anyone, but I still watch.
Now it's different.
First 2 rounds of the NFL draft.
Now it's different.
So you watch day 2.
Of NFL draft, yeah.
And you're not that's right. You're not a big college football guy.
No, but I'm curious who the Birds take, who the other division teams.
What are you doing? You're Googling players.
Yeah.
But the problem too is this one and done stuff for the NBA. Cause I mean, outside of the lottery picks, these players, you don't know them, and most of the time they're not even going to be in the league for a long time. The one and done has really hurt just the basketball product as a whole. These players, you can't connect with, at least with the NFL draft. Some of the top prospects because these guys have played at least 3 to 4 years in college football. These NBA kids, either they're coming from Europe where no one's really watching Euro basketball, let's be honest, or it's a one and done kid that you really just don't know about. I think back to the Embiid draft. All of us were watching Wiggins. All of us were watching Jabari Parker, Joel Embiid. But these kids
Jabari Parker, another Duke.
The Barcelona great now. He's a star over in Barcelona. The Jabari Parkers.
Yeah, he was horrible.
It does feel also Duke's so hit or miss with that program.
Yeah, that's another one.
The guys who come out of that program.
Think about it. Okafor.
Oh,
right.
That's why I got to bring up that name.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them.
There's a million of them. There's a million. There's a million Duke kids that don't make it.
Become average. They're just players.
You know what it is? They're well coached, right?
Yeah.
So
great system.
Because they're well coached like that, that's what makes them, quality college ball play. And they also have a certain, I think, MO. I think they're smart. They get smart kids. You look at those kids that go through that program, they're always highly intelligent, smart kids.
Make great role players.
They do. I think, but Kentucky's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Kentucky, you get just pure talent, which actually shows you about Calipari. Sometimes I go, he has loaded talent, and he can't win.
Every year, he's got 3 of the top 6 high school kids going to his program. Every year,
maybe
and he turns them into way better pros in the Duke program.
That one and done, guys. It's tough, especially as a coach.
He actually, I think, coaches and tells the kids when he's recruiting, his job is to get them to the next level.
In fact, I've had him on before a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he talks about that, about his messaging is, listen, he sold out for the one and done, where Jay never wanted to do the one and done. He sold out for the one and done and says, listen, you could come here. This is your pit stop. I'll prepare you and prep you for the next level. And they become great players.
Now you want those Arkansas
I just think it's kind of hard to win that way because of the youth and because the roster, the turnover is so great that it's hard to get into a rhythm.
I remember when he was talking about Maxey when he came out of the program. Maxey, he had said that he had told Maxey to focus on the floater. And he's like, you're going to need this shot at the next level. And it's become an effective part of Maxey's game at the NBA level. And I think that's in a lot of part because of Calipari seeing what the player needs to excel as opposed to what his team needs to do to win a championship. And that's how he gets these players. He's always competitive, but he goes into a room of a kid with their folks and is like, yo, I can get these kids to the next level and make them good players.
Yeah, I guess, going back to it, it's interesting. They're making this a 2-day draft. Like, who's watching tonight? There's no, like, football makes sense, right?
For sure.
Yeah. The football draft, the NFL draft is what it is because you have so many positions. Your roster size is so big. The NBA, it's not like that. Now, back in the day, they used to have 8 rounds or 10 rounds in the NBA when we were kids.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. But if you don't have a first round that's compelling, how do you split it up?
Here.
Like, who's watching the second round today?
I don't know. People, can you even gamble on the second round? I don't know. I can't imagine anyone's. Here, this will make you feel good. ESPN agrees with you. Big chunk of teams passed on Select and Connect, including Miami and Philadelphia. Both of those teams seem to be in a win-now mode and could clearly use a scorer in his mold. He's the most prolific scorer in the draft, not named Zach Edey, averaging a robust 28 points per 40 minutes, despite entire defenses planning on slowing him down on a nightly basis.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ESPN. So, and Edey scores because he was so massive and bigger than everybody.
Yes.
This kid scores, he's 6'5", 6'4.5", and he's scoring with, just like I said earlier, them blitzing you.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding me?
A lot of pick and rolls.
You know what? You're right about Connect for one thing. Nick Nurse has always been the wing whisperer. So why not get him the prototypical wing that he always molds?
Dude, I don't know. Again, there has to be a trade.
If you're going to pick someone.
There has to be a trade coming. Something has to be a trade.
Please, something
Oh, my
more.
God. It has to be a trade. All right, we have the brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
Hello, brain. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you today?
Good, buddy. How's Oregon? You're golfing in Oregon, is that correct?
Yeah, abandoned dunes. It's going to be chilly here. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be cold. Very, very cold. But I'm looking forward to it.
You feel for him.
I know. My heart goes out to you. All right?
This guy.
Rough in the elements in lovely Oregon.
I deserve that.
Let's get to the draft. Let's get to the draft. You are I love talking to you for sports, all right? Forget the fact that you pick winners and all the other stuff. That's why people need to know you. But you're a great sportsman. Explain to me how you pass up Dalton Connect.
You know, it's funny. Well, my entire trip has been ruined because the last 15 hours my son has been bitching to me. The Sixers ruined their franchise and because he wanted Dalton Connect very badly. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to say this. I happen to really like, and it happened to be like one of the guys I actually saw play a decent amount was McLean. I actually like him. I know he's small. But I actually think the guy is a phenomenal shooter. And I actually think he could be a decent player. Now, did I want Dalton Connect? Yes. I never thought all the intel I got, by the way, was he was going to go worst case top 10. Like that was like his floor or his ceiling, depending how you look at it. But probably top 6 to 8 area. From a gambling point of view, his over-unders were way lower. I was stunned. I want him to get Dalton Connect. The only thing I could think of, Anthony, is when sometimes a guy just gets labeled, maybe because he wasn't a high sought-out guy coming out of high school, an older prospect. Sometimes those players unfairly get, okay, he's 23
I said the same thing 15 minutes ago.
They get pigeonholed. Yeah, they get pigeonholed and unfairly treated. First of all, it's funny. As I said, Anthony, me and you are very similar in so many ways how we look at these things. I'm not anti-analytics, and I understand age is a part. But Anthony, you don't remember. It used to be when we were growing up, everyone went to college for 4 years. If you were 23 coming out of college, it wasn't like, doesn't mean you suck. Now it means you suck, and at least in terms of how a lot of people view you. Like you're a grandfather at 23, and I'm like, whoa, wait. Now again, obviously you have the Danny Watkins thing with the Eagles from way back when. I get that, but my point being is, I think it was too much of an overreaction on his age. He looked like he was a great player, and shouldn't that be what it's about? But I actually do like, again, as much as I was sad about the pick, because I thought there was a great chance to get another score, which they clearly needed. Maybe I'm just crazy, but actually, I really did like McClain. I think he is a.
Okay, so let me ask you this, all right? Because I agree with you. Let me ask you this. I agree with you that McCain could shoot. He could shoot it. Yeah. He could fill it up. How does he play with Maxey? You have a 6'2.5" combo guard, right? Who doesn't play defense? Who's your best player? And then you bring in a 6'1.5" combo guard, really more of a 2 guard that doesn't play defense. How does that work?
Let me make this clear. If I was general manager, I want to stress this at the highest level. Dalton Connect I would have been running, not walking to the podium. Let me make that clear. So I'm two different things here. Okay. So again, I agree with you fully. But if Connect had not been there, which again I get he was, so it's stupid.
No, but I forget about Connect because I agree with you. I'm just asking you.
Well, he's not going to play more than 15 minutes.
I don't see it doesn't make sense to me to draft McCain, even though, listen, I think he can fill it up. But Maxey's going to play 44 minutes a night. You can't play them for long stretches together.
Whoa. Okay, he's going to play 44 minutes a night in the postseason, right? But in the regular season, he's probably going to play like 36, right? 37.
I'm talking about the playoffs. This is a team that's trying to win.
Right, yeah. Listen, I get it. But here's the thing, Anthony. Here's the thing. At least you have a guy that how tall is the guy from the Knicks? The kid from West Virginia, McBride. How tall is he, Miles McBride?
He's like 6'1", 6 feet.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Now let's be again. When that guy came in the game, he scared the you-know-what out of me. I actually thought he was a really effective player. And he's not tall. He's a different kind of player.
He's a role player who gives you X amount of minutes. Like McBride would have 2 games that were really good, and then he would disappear for 3 games. You're not looking to draft that. You need somebody better than Miles McBride. And again, you can't play with Maxey. You can't have a backcourt that small that doesn't play defense.
Well, Anthony, I'm curious. Like, I'd love to. Again, I've been out here and I didn't get to see. Did anyone ask him that direct question? I know you would. You would ask a good question like that.
He said he was the top 10 on his board.
I saw that. Look, again. I agree with you, but again, I'm going to try to be fair here. When Jahlil Okafor was taking over Kristaps Porzingis, quote unquote, everyone said Okafor over Porzingis. I'm just and obviously the
nobody said that. Everyone liked Porzingis, but the fact was Porzingis didn't want to play here. So
I thought it was, but most people didn't. If I'm going back, just again, I can't.
In fact, I even invented a way I say Porzingis, like we wanted Porzingis, and we used to always. It was a thing on the show. Forget about right. I've been wrong a million. I wanted Ben Simmons, so I was wrong a million times. Right? It's not even about that. If you're just looking to analyze the situation, Brain, it doesn't make sense. I try to look at it fair. I'm giving them till Monday to trade the kid.
Oh, well, I was going to give him till Tuesday, but no, but listen.
The start of free agency, there's going to be a lot of moves.
I know that. No, I don't think that's what they're going to do though, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, again, there was a lot of smoke. I'm sure you read these things like I do, where everyone seemed to be projecting Jared McCain. Like if you did and I looked at I'm sick. I look at all these mock drafts. He was clearing away the guy that was projected to go to Philadelphia more than any other player by far. I mean, he was.
What does that mean?
It means I think that there had been, obviously it had gotten out somehow, whether it was Morey, whether it was Nurse, whether it was someone else in the organization.
Okay,
it leaked somewhat so that they actually liked the kid.
Here's my problem, and I still don't have an answer to it. How does Maxey and McCain play together? How do they play together?
I mean, listen. I guess defensively, we'll see how McCain does, and see if he can handle going against bigger, stronger players than him.
You watched him in college. He was not. He did not appear to be an A+ defender.
No, it's funny. That was one thing that annoyed me in the press conference. Morey was like, he really improved. The one thing I will say is I actually thought he sucked defensively, and he really improved.
So did I. I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, it's like if I go from 248
and I love Maxey, but Maxey plays no defense either.
No, I understand that. But listen, in the NBA, and Anthony, we get it. It's a scoring league. Look, the bottom line is, it is what it is. This is what they're now doing. I don't think there's a trade, Anthony, because to me, if you've sampled, and I could be wrong on this, the other 30 general managers, I would think 27 of them, 90% of them would have taken Connect. I think Morey was probably one of the three that liked McCain better. At least that's what I think. So that's why I don't know.
I don't know, Brad. All I know is you're trying to, again, I wouldn't be crazed about the pick if this offseason wasn't so crucial, right? Like,
the most crucial
again, if you're looking for a developmental kid, you go, the kid could shoot. I'll tell you firsthand, kid's a great shooter, man. McCain is a terrific shooter. And if you're looking at, you're one of these teams and you're looking to build, they need to win now. You have a finite amount of assets between money and picks. You can't afford to go try to get a kid who's going to play, 12 minutes. 16 minutes a game in the regular season and 5 minutes a game in the postseason.
Yeah. Listen, I'm agreeing with you. Again, I'm agreeing with you. I was very surprised. Now, let me ask you a question then, Anthony. I have one question for you, though. And I know he was, but if he wasn't there, just pretend he went 15, who would you have taken?
I'll be honest with you. I wanted to trade the pick the whole time.
Okay, fair enough.
I wanted to trade the pick. In fact, even if Connect was there, I want to trade the pick because you're not winning with rookies. Rookies you don't win. Everybody loves youth, right? We're in love with youth in this country. You know who wins? Veterans win.
Veterans, yeah, 100%.
Veterans win. 100%. And in that league, men win.
It's all veterans. Yeah, you're 100% right. Listen, you're right.
I wanted to trade the pick the whole time. Now, when Connect is there, I go, well, I actually like Connect because he is mature. He's 23. He could do a million things on the floor. He can flat out score. It's legit. You and I talked about him a million times during the tournament about how teams would blitz him and attack him, and all he would do was score.
I thought he was the second best player in college last year.
And the other guy
really thought that.
was just physically more imposing.
Yeah. Listen, again, I would love. Zach Edey was a different kind of player, but he was the most effective player in college basketball. I'm not going to argue that. But what I'm just saying is, I really would like to hear someone press Morey on what you just asked. I'd love to ever come on your. I'd love to, if you got him on your show, hear what I'd love to hear what he would. How
I got the request
because it's a great question. Yeah, it's a great question. Anthony.
And now they're doing it day two, so I guess we'll see. I got to give him till Monday.
You're right about the NBA draft. Who's watching? I thought the same. I'm glad you said. We always think the same. I was thinking to myself, this is not the NFL, dude. And it's like this is not the NFL. Well, it's like, the NFL does it, so we could do it. Well, there's other guys in Mr. Fitness competitions. I'm not in the Mr. Fitness competition, right?
Right.
Just because someone else is in it, I'm in a different species, right? How their NBA's comparing themselves to the NFL with this is embarrassing. Because even me and you, who are big geeks with this stuff, it's like the second round of the NBA to me is not. I mean, I don't know.
It's not compelling.
I'm just very curious.
Especially for the mass audience that doesn't even know the first round guys.
Oh,
Like we watch,
forget
we
about
watch.
it. I'll go start us
My
out.
buddy Boo, we say the same thing. We watch a million college games, right? You watch it more than I do because that's what you do. And
Yeah.
you look at the first round between the foreign kids and the G League kids, and the youth.
Exactly
like you
right.
don't know half of them.
It's become like soccer or hockey, right? Where you're just like, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Who's this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, my thing's falling here, but it's exactly like that, and you're just like, what are you doing? It's become very, very challenging in terms of. I apologize, but my stand is a little messed up here. But I agree with you, Anthony, 100% that it's just, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish, but I guess that's what they're doing, and I don't know. We'll see what the ratings are. I'm curious. I will bet if they just done it for the one thing, you would have had more people probably are watching round one, stick with round two, but we'll see what we'll see how it goes out.
All right. At Brad's Bet. We don't see you. There you go. At Brad'sBestBets.com on Twitter X and Brad'sBestBets.com. You got to check them out. What do you got today? Anything? It's a light day today.
Yeah, I got a couple things, Anthony. One thing, listen, you'll like this one. Phillies with the run line today, minus 137 right now on Parks. It's actually like the best number you can get in the world. It actually got it open at 110 in the overnight line. I knew it would never hold. But even laying 137, I like it, Anthony. Again, what do we always talk about when I'm doing a run line? We want a team who we think can score 6+ runs. Phillies should against Rogers, in my opinion. And a pitcher that should be able to hold their opponent to 2 or less runs. I feel confident. Zach Wheeler, best pitcher in the world, in my opinion, should be able to hold this Marlins team to 2 or less runs. Laying $1.37 isn't as cheap as the $1.10 it was overnight. I get it, but I really feel like the Phillies, the way they're playing, Anthony, the way the Marlins are playing, this has the feel to me, Anthony, almost like a football game when you have a 2-touchdown favorite, right? This to me just seems like that kind of game where the Phillies should win, like 7-1, 7-2.
All day.
I did it.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah. And Anthony, Jack Flaherty, again, you remember he was at one point, like going back 5 years ago, the up-and-coming superstar pitcher for the Cardinals, looked like he was going to be great. Has really struggled since. But this year, the Tigers, give them credit. They signed this guy. 108 strikeouts in 85 innings, Anthony. ERA in the 2s has been absolutely terrific. Going against David Daniels, basically a rookie guy from the minor leagues coming up. I laid a half run on the 5-inning line, laying 113, because, again, Tigers, no interest in betting them for a 9-inning game at all. But for a 5-inning game, sure. And I'll lay a half run there. I know they don't score a ton of runs, but again, when Scuba are on the mound, they're a good team. I think they'll beat a really bad Angels team through 5 innings. And then Emanga, the Cubs, Anthony, over 5.5 strikeouts. He's gone over that 8 of his last 10 times. Giants, not a bad matchup at all. And plus, we're getting plus 108 right now on the Park site. We're getting odds on something I think we should be laying odds in. Give me Emanga over 5.5 strikeouts.
I like it. There he is, the brain. Listen, enjoy. Hit him straight today, buddy.
Appreciate you, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. There he is. Brad Feinberg, the brain. It is The Grind, presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Now, let's talk about, the Bet Parks, actually the Parks Casino in Ben Salem, which is tremendous. All right. I tell you all about the Bet Parks app, but how about the casino itself? All right. TGIF weekend and plenty of action, excitement, entertainment at Parks Casino, the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. This is how you win. Parks Casino Summer Happy Hour at the Liberty Bell Beer Garden. Seating inside and outside. Live entertainment tonight at the 360 Lounge. Dine at one of the award-winning restaurants, the Parks Grill Steakhouse, the Liberty Bell Gastropub, delicious sushi hand rolls at Bamboo Noodle House, plus 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games. I'm telling you, it's my casino of choice is Parks Casino. All roads lead to Parks Casinos. Headliners coming to the 1,500-seat Excite Center at Parks Casino. Tiffany Haddish, September 27th. Debbie Gibson, July 19th. J.B. Smoove, I love him, September 20th. Leon Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's fantastic. Got to check it out. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino. This is how you win, JP.
Awesome stuff, cuz. All right, guys, listen, I know we're all stressed out about what the Sixers are doing, but one thing that doesn't have to be stressful is home buying. That's why we're talking about Mortgage CS here this morning, ladies and gentlemen, because the house buying process in 2024 is extremely stressful, and I get it. I was there at one point too. But you want to make sure that if you're going through a house buying process, you have a mortgage company that you can trust. Unlike the management of the Sixers, right? So let's talk about a little bit Mortgage CS. All right, today's real estate market is ultra competitive. Prospective home buyers, perhaps just like you, are missing out on an opportunity to win the perfect home. But why? It's because you don't have Mortgage CS in your corner. Maybe news to you, but the mortgage company you choose is more important than ever. Even if you aren't in the market, you can still explore options with Mortgage CS. This is home financing, not a marriage, ladies and gentlemen. You may be shocked how much money you could be saving. And we always talk about rooting for local, and that's why we love Mortgage CS, because they are an independent mortgage broker located here in the Philadelphia area. And Ben and Alec, who run Mortgage CS, the CEOs, guys, they are phenomenal people, and they're the biggest Philly sports fans that you know. You can test it right now. The phone number is at the bottom of your screen if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast, it's 267-391-7425. Text Ben right now. Let's see what he thinks about the McCain draft pick last night, or what the Sixers should be doing. If not, get some advice for home buying here today from Ben himself. If not, guys, you can also go to www.mortgagecs.com/PHLY and check out their over 370 5-star reviews on there as well. So don't take it from me. Take it from over 370 people who feel the same way, that Mortgage CS is a great mortgage company for your home buying process. This advertisement is not a commitment not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to a credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS ID 1464766. Again, visit mortgagecs.com for more information.
All right. Thank you, JP.
I'm loving this pick. Just because in typical Philadelphia fashion, we're butchering his name already.
Dude,
It's McClain or McCain. Nobody knows. Brad's saying McClain. In the chat room, it's half and half.
Dude, I swear to God, I was about to say the same thing. I was about to go like this. Jared McCain. All right? It's not like McClain, Bruce Willis's character. All right?
That's good
Right?
throwback, man.
Yeah.
John McClane.
Yeah, this is great.
Jared McCain. I'm hearing him say McClain 100 times. I'm going, it's McCain.
I'm
It's
starting to
McCain.
doubt myself. I had to go look it up. Make sure.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. I'm going, even JP, did you get? He
Yeah,
slept.
you just
You
said
said
it, too.
McClain.
definitely said it.
Yeah.
It
And
doesn't
I'm going,
matter, cuz he's getting traded, okay? I don't even know what his name is.
My God.
So we have
10
such a hard
o'clock hour
time here
brought
with
to you by
names.
Rite Aid. Right? Why do we butcher names?
I don't know.
We do. We butcher
Philadelphia
every
thing.
freaking name. It's uncanny.
The best is the Latino names. Castellanos.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Martinez.
Castellanos.
Castellanos.
I get it. Some people have never had Spanish class. They don't know the double L's or a
Right.
Y sound. But
That's why I'm
McCain
here,
and
guys.
McClain,
Look, we've done it a million times.
yeah.
A million times. I mean, from Detner, you know.
Detner.
Oh, my.
Alshon Jeffries.
No, Jeffries.
Yeah.
That was another thing. We like to say Jeffries, not Jeffrey. Oh, my God. We had S's and plurals and L's. All right. Oh, God. This pick is just
I was about to have
unnerving.
an aneurysm today.
I'm unnerved by it. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Dev Miliano's right. We can all say Michkov, though.
yeah.
Yeah. Matryoshka.
I got news for you. I had a conversation where it was funny. Is Devon there? I don't want to keep. Okay, good. I want to get him up here. I'll bring this up to you in the clubhouse later.
Cool.
RiteAid.com. Check it out. Nearest location. Get all your goods. They underrated, right? You get all your pharmacy. The pharmacists are the best. I love them there. Underrated. The Rite Aid snacks.
Yeah.
Strong items. The popcorn. I like the popcorn.
Yeah, the
Sweet
popcorn's a
salty
great snack.
popcorn I'm down with.
Very good. All right, let's get from our all PHLY Sixers show. Amazing. Does a great job all the time. Last night, killing it, slaying it. He is the great Devon Givens. I had to bend his ear today. I had to call him to bend his ear. Let's start, Devon.
He doesn't know what he's getting into.
No, he does. I think you feel the same way, right? I mean, that pick, explain to me how Maxey and McCain fit together, because I don't see it.
They don't. And the one piece that we looked at we tried to rationalize it a little bit last night. And when you called me earlier, I didn't say this one to you, so I'll say it here now with you and the guys sitting there. I asked the question to the guys, as Rich Hoffman brought up, could he be more like a Landry Shamet type in that type of role? I brought up Fred VanVleet with Kyle Lowry with Nick Nurse in Toronto. The build was different. He was more stocky, Fred VanVleet, and known for his defense. But we have seen Nick Nurse play two guards in his lineup and play them a lot. The only difference in this case is these guys are more offensive oriented, where those were two-way players, and Fred VanVleet
Kyle
turned
Lowry
into
was strong,
Yeah.
tough,
Exactly.
right? Play
Yeah.
defense. Neither of these two play defense.
Yeah. And Maxey does compete. He's gotten better. There's still room to grow. Jared
Yeah,
McCain is a small
he
guy.
ain't Brogdon defensively.
He is not. So yeah, that's where the puzzling part came in. And with the Dalton Connect piece also, when you intertwine that, where he just continued to drop and drop and drop, and you're looking at it and say, okay, you didn't expect him to be on the board. Where is he on Daryl Morey's board in their draft room, and how does it go from there? So that was the puzzling part. And when it wasn't someone like Isaiah Collier or another wing that had a little more size, you know exactly where they're going, and they're going with the shooting here, Anthony. And they're going with the shooting. They're going with the fact that he's been dubbed as a winner. He's a competitor, and he just knows how to play the basketball. He impacts. And even as a small guard, averaging 5 rebounds to go along with the 16 points while he was at Duke, shooting that 41%. Those are the things that intrigued them, in my opinion, and then hearing a little bit of what Daryl Morey had to say. Other than that, of course, it's tough to just look at he and Maxey together on the floor.
Time out. All right, because let's stop right where you just said. Because I agree with you. Like, listen, I think the kid can shoot, right? Like, I think the kid can play. The reason why the board is the most absurd thing by drafting by the board in the NBA as opposed to the NFL, where you have 22 positions that you need to fill, and not including special teams, is you got to fit. You need fit on your team, especially a team like the Sixers who are trying to win now. Like, you're trying to build a team now to win. So if you just go, listen, I think the kid can play. I think the kid, he maybe he's a winner. I don't know, right? I don't think he's a point guard. I think he's more of a two guard than a point guard. I think the kid could shoot the lights out. And if he can get off the shot, then God bless. He can really maybe fill it up. But the problem is, again, you have Maxey. And you can't convince me that you can play the two. Even Morey said, well, they're not going to play together at the same time. So now let's fast forward to the playoffs. Okay, well, Maxey's going to play 44 minutes plus in the playoffs. So where does that leave your number one pick?
Yeah, and when you talk about fit, that's where we go to the Dalton Connect part of it, where he just continued to fall. He's 6'5". Yes, he's 23, but so what? The guy can play basketball and he can shoot, and that's one. If we're focused on the shooting with Jared McCain, let's also focus on the shooting that Dalton Connect has. And while he may be a little bit slower, he can put the ball on the floor and he can finish at the rim as well. He has that mid-range game. Defensively, also a question, even with that bigger size at 6'5". However, you're talking about fit. That fit was much better in this particular situation. The shooting can come from anywhere with McCain and Connect with Joel Embiid on the floor. But the other part, as you mentioned, is you're about to give your other guy who's 6'2", a max contract at $200 million, who's going to play 40 minutes a night.
Exactly. And I look at Connect and I go, you know what? He's a tremendous athlete. He's a kid that, I mean, you see him sky, like he can move.
He can get up.
Right? And then you look at at Tennessee. I don't care if he's 23 like you. I look at him and I go, at Tennessee, he was their best player. He got blitzed every night. And he's still dropping 30 a game. Like, are you kidding me? Like, give me the kid that got blitzed at big time college basketball and still found a way to score. That translates to the league, especially for a team that needs to win now. Like, listen, we got no patience. You're a Sixer fan. You're done. You're at your limit. This is it. The glass is full. There's no more patience. You got to build a team that can win now, compete now. And God bless the kid, right, McCain, but he's not a fit.
Yeah, it's a tough fit, and it's going to be a tough sell. It's really going to be difficult. And sure, look, he's going to go to Summer League, and he's going to go out there, and he's probably going to drop around 16 to 20 on average for this basketball team, right? He's going to show some really good things. But how's that going to translate to the NBA and fitting next to Tyrese Maxey? Because Maxey's not going to be out there on the floor. Sure, he might be out there with Turk Smith and give you a little bit to look at. However, when it gets to coming here, training camp, preseason, he may do some things. How's he going to get on the floor and be an impactful player on the floor because there are going to be times where you want to see, all right, you drafted the kid, he's on this team, let me see. You put him out there with your best players and see how it works out. And then you might get your answer, and it may not be the answer that you like.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a way that is there a trade in the works? Because the other aspect is you only have a finite amount of assets to build your team to win now.
Yes.
Morey's not dumb, right? He knows he's got limited assets, and to waste one of those assets on a kid that doesn't fit or using him as a part-time role doesn't make sense. I'm shocked they didn't trade the pick. Forget about Connect. I'm shocked they didn't trade the pick when they had a chance. Like, I guess they didn't get any offers. But could there still be a trade that's about to pop? I'm giving them till Monday to see what this thing kind of look like.
Well, yeah, Sunday it starts. Free agency, 6 p.m. So we'll see about that one. But yeah, there's a possibility. As you know, there's a possibility of that. And we have leaned more towards the Brandon Ingram name because of everybody else that is now falling off the board. That if you go get Brandon Ingram, could Jared McCain, be a part of that deal where he is sent to New Orleans in a package like that? Could he be on the move? Could that happen? Could he go elsewhere in some other potential deal? Chicago, Zach LaVine, just throwing a name out there. Not saying that's the one, but yeah, there's a possibility that that's the case because, as you said, it's not a great fit here. Daryl Morey's a smart guy. Yes, the guy is a winner. He can shoot. He's tough. He can do all those things. So all the stuff that Jay Bill has said about him. But the fit is tough to just sit there and grasp onto that and say, okay, I don't have any other questions because the guy can shoot the basketball. The fit is tough. You wonder if there is a second move forthcoming.
Yeah. Let's get into this for a second because, again, we understand the gravity of this off season, and it just got the chasm between the favorites. I'll use that as plural because of Cousin, and the Sixers has widened dramatically because now it's not just Boston, but it's now the Knicks who land your cousin, Mikal Bridges, who wind up re-signing yesterday, OG Anunoby. They look nasty.
They look really nasty. Yeah, so that's why I bring up the Brandon Ingram name. It may not be the first one that rolls off for a lot of people, but as you pointed out, the questions now with Paul George, the uncertainty with Jimmy Butler in Miami, where it looks like he's probably going to stay in Miami. Where's the next best thing that you go to? Because things are starting to slim out with OG Anunoby now re-signing, Pascal Siakam also staying in Indiana. And now with Kale going to New York, where do you go? Lowry Markin is probably going to cost you just as much. If you weren't willing to give up as much for Mikal in this deal, are you going to give that much up for Lowry Markin in a Utah Jazz deal? Probably not.
I would.
When you would, you probably would have done that for Mikal too, but they didn't, and that's why I'm saying that you probably won't get Lowry Markin in. So now you go to these other names: Brandon Ingram, Zach LaVine, maybe a few others that may come available. Do you look at DeMar DeRozan on a maybe 2-year deal at a balloon kind of payment to look at that, where you're not giving up any assets in that, and you're probably keeping Jared McCain unless he's in a separate deal. But do you go that route now because of that? And then when you talk about that and you look at Boston, you need to be able to also defend those guys. So who are those people? Who are those people on your team? You have the big fella behind you. He'll clean up a lot of your mess. But on the perimeter, you need some size there that's going to do that. So names that we've thrown out there on our show, Najee Marshall from New Orleans, who's an unrestricted free agent, a guy that, hey, is this his time to pop? Atlantic City native, is it his turn to become one of those players that you see that just takes that next step in his career, like we've seen from Herb Jones, certainly with his team, Derrick Jones Jr. being a big role player there for the Dallas Mavericks, and that same type of position where when you get to the postseason, you need to be able to defend these players, Donovan Mitchell, Jimmy Butler, and certainly Boston, and now New York with the players that they have. You have to be able to shut these guys down or slow them down as best as possible. So you're also going to need those types of players to complete and fill out this roster.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of, like, just to fill out the roster, you have a lot of work to do.
They now have 5 players on their roster, including McCain, who's unsigned, of course, but Paul Reed, Ricky Council IV, Embiid, Maxey, and now Jared McCain. You have to fill out a roster.
Is it wise to invest the $4 million into the pick?
Well, there were the other option too, Ant, last night was maybe trade down and maybe acquire some more assets and do that. But is it wise to do that? I would say it's okay just because they have so much cap space. And they can have as much as $64 million, as Derek always talks about on our show, and he said it on your show as well, that they have so much cap space that's probably not a bad thing there. And when you look at maybe as we include DeMar DeRozan in this conversation, you give him an overpay maybe, then yeah, $4 million is not that bad when you're looking at possibly giving DeMar DeRozan, let's say, a 2-year deal at somewhere around $60 million for that very reason. So I would say it's not a bad thing to have that $4 million in the first round pick on your roster for that case.
I know this is very unlikely, but there's a lot of rumors swirling around KD and the fact that he may become available.
For whatever reason, I'm not buying that one. And I understand it's reported by the great people like Adrian Wojnarowski, a friend of yours, and one of the best, if you want to argue that there, and doing what he does. But something, and look, now everything trailing Kevin Durant, you can say, why would you not believe that? Because of asking out of Golden State and then Brooklyn and now in Phoenix, would it be anybody's surprise that he does it again? But the relationship he has with Ime Udoka from their time together in Brooklyn for that short time before Udoka took over in Boston, so that's real. And the fact that he does move on, that's real. But I just don't see it. And Matt Ishbia doing everything that he did to put that team together, he's not getting rid of Kevin Durant right now, in my opinion. And that's why I'm not buying that one. I'm leaning more towards 75% he's staying in Phoenix. I'm not even looking at that as an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm just not.
Listen, I kind of feel it. I feel it's highly unlikely to. That's why I prefaced it, but that is kind of making the rounds. So we had to bring it up. The other aspect is you mentioned DeRozan. Somebody else told me go, Klay Thompson, like to get which, Maxey and Klay. I mean, I don't see that. It's a lot of slim pickings is kind of where we're at, like and how you do it. And then it comes back to the other thing, like how long can you wait for Embiid? Like how many times can you punt down the road when it just doesn't make sense to do that with Joel and his age?
I don't know how much more of that he will take.
I know.
And you talk about the age and all, but how much more until he's just saying, all right, we're clearly not doing anything. You may have tried, but you did not succeed. So now I have to look elsewhere. So that is the question. And you look at them and you say their window really, and even with Maxey and the pathway that he has for so many years, you're really looking at 2 to 3 years with Joel Embiid and trying to win right now. So if you're trying to do that, you really have to make sure that you absolutely get this done this summer. When you put everything together the way that you did last offseason, didn't do much at the deadline, getting Buddy Hield, yes, but it was all about cap flexibility this summer. Summer is here. DeRozan, all right, that's great, but Anunoby, Bridges, Siakam, off the board. Denny Avdia, who was a name that we talked about that was really interesting on a really good contract in Washington. Unsure if they would even look to move him. He goes for pick 14 and Malcolm Brogdon in
Dude,
Portland.
I got to tell you, like, that's the kind of player they need.
Yes. So why were you not now? You don't have the player on your roster to match like Malcolm Brogdon in terms of the salary. Maybe it was Paul Reed. I don't know, but you got to get involved in that. That's a nice one, and that may not have been the splash, but that's just a piece to start things off.
But listen, that's how you build a team. Like we talk about with the Knicks, like how they built it, Boston, and they built it. He's one of those players that is a good role player. Like that's the kind of player you want.
Yeah, so things are starting to fall off the board. And when you do that, when you have that, you have to go do something. Now, you just wonder when you do something, you're in kind of panic mode and you're just going out there to do something just to do it. Are you going to put yourself in a bad spot? Now, you do have Maxey and Embiid. So anytime you have those two, you're going to win games. Now, the question is, are you going to be able to build the right people? Is DeRozan the right fit? I like him more than Kyle and Derek do on the show. I like him a little bit more. And of course, that's a lot of the 3-point volume, the fact that he lives in the same area that Joel Embiid does in that mid-range area. So how would that work together? But my thing is always, hey, guys have never played with a player like Joel Embiid at that size. So he'll create a lot of opportunities for you. So I'm more intrigued by that. Certainly the Brandon Ingram piece, not as much the Zach LaVine side of things. You mentioned Klay Thompson. He can't move. So I don't know how I would get on board with that one, even with the shooting. Again, Embiid is different than even Steph, just because of the fact that you're talking about a low post player that's going to command a lot of attention. The ball swings to you, you're going to get some good looks. But man, they're running out of names unless there's something that we just don't know about yet.
I keep hoping that that's it. Go ahead, Greg.
I mean, Devon, you know way more than probably all of us combined. Do you have any hope, knowing the current landscape, that there are moves possible that can keep them competitive and get them past the second round of the playoffs?
Well, again, VG, they're always going to be competitive because of Embiid and Maxey. Even when you've had other guys, and 50 is the standard with this team in terms of the regular season. To your point, that second round is always their plateau. They cap at that second round. That's where the other stuff comes into play. But then we go back, and then you start making me think and go back to when me and Ant would be yelling at each other about Game 6 and 20 into 23 playoffs, because we speak about Tobias Harris and DeAnthony Melton, George Niang, all these players on the roster, and you had James Harden not playing all that great, but he won you 2 games in that Boston series, getting past that second round when they should have done that. So I say that and bring it all the way back to that, because depending on what this roster looks like, those two are the ones that are going to spearhead the whole thing. And you have a good coaching nurse, and if you believe in him to do what we think he is as good at, then they should still be able to be in that contention, even with the improvement with New York, maybe even somebody like Cleveland, where they have a new coach, and Kenny Atkinson, that get the best out of them, where you look at this Sixer team and say, whatever they build out, because let's go back to even this season. When DeAnthony Melton was healthy, they had a top 5 offensive rating in the NBA. Top 5. And that's DeAnthony Melton out there on the floor with Nick Batum. So your offensive players are Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. So if you put those right pieces around and Daryl Morey is able to go out there and find the right fits and bring back some of the Sixers that were on last season's roster, I would say yes. But again, we just haven't seen it yet. And some of the players that we liked are now in other uniforms, and you thought that they would have a chance to do that. So I would say yes, but it's hard because, as Anthony said, your patience is now up to here.
Right.
And that's tough to convince others that is in fact the case.
What's your confidence level with Morey right now?
That's a tough one, man. Because why were you unable to go get Alex Caruso?
I have no confidence in him right now.
Yeah, because why were you unable to go get Alex
what has he
Caruso?
done? Listen, I love the guy, right? I go, all right, let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do. I gave him the benefit of the doubt with Harden, and he got saddled with Ben Simmons, right? The whole thing. He made the right move with Harden by not giving him a long-term deal. But this past trade deadline, he didn't do anything. He wasn't proactive that way. He waited till the end of what's happened now, and he has till Monday, in my eyes, or Sunday night.
Yeah, he really does. He does. This is his off season. You created the cap space. You kept talking about it. This is his off season to get something done to prove to Sixer fans that at least going into the start of the season, forget about next February's trade deadline, going into the start of this season, that you are still competing with Boston and New York. And it's not just a competing thing. It's no, I feel like I can beat this basketball team on any given night. Most importantly, when we get to the next spring and we're talking about second round and possibly third round. So, Anthony, you're exactly right.
Here's the other truth of the matter, right? The whole thing's about a title, right? And I know you can't just go from zero to a title. And because of all the mistakes of the past that that mostly predate Morey, the truth of the matter is they are light years away from Boston right now. And New York. New York is better. New York has passed them. That's with two great players, like two cornerstone players in Embiid and Maxey. The Knicks are so much deeper. The Knicks are just a terrific. I love what they did. It kills me.
I know it did. And even the Anunoby part, just the cherry on top. And we'll see what happens with Isaiah Hartenstein, who there's reports out there that he might even look to take a little bit less just to stay. And Nick Claxton maybe set the market with that $100 million deal that he signed with the Nets yesterday. So, their depth is unbelievable right now. They have an all-NBA player in Jalen Brunson, of course, making the moves that they did. And the Sixers don't have any depth because they don't have a team right now. So you said it. Morey has until Monday to change your mind where you're saying, okay, I can take a little bit of a step back, look at the situation on paper right now and say, all right, he did the job. But what is that job, Ant? Because I'm saying all these names. We mentioned DeRozan, we mentioned Ingram. I don't know who you like now with the remaining people that we've discussed. So
I look at it and I go, I kind of side with you with DeRozan, right? Because I think those two can figure it out. I think Embiid and DeRozan can figure it out. And DeRozan can flat out score, right? I mean, the problem, though, is what's left. It's like ingredients. You want to make a fine meal, right? I kind of got like so ingredients, right? I have two great like stars, right? But everything else, I got half rotten vegetables, right? Like I'm looking around, I'm going, how am I going to make a whole meal with what I have? And I like DeRozan, but is he going to put me over the top of the Knicks, of the Celtics, right? I mean, that's why I would go all in on marketing because with those three together, they fit so well with what marketing can be in my head. All right, now all of a sudden I think I got something. At least I'm so good in those three spots and those fit that I can fill around and bring back Batum and I can take a run at it. And then let's see what happens in the spring because we know things change with injuries and everything else.
Sure. Yeah. So you're at the you need to convince me mode. And look, I'm with you on the championship piece. I know so much this season where it was like, all right, they lost to New York. It was frustrating. It was New York. That was another piece. Last year with the Boston part plays a part in it and all of that. But this team right now, man, they're in the we have to win mode at this moment. So they do. I mean, that's where you have to take swings and look at what New York did. They took a swing. And they took a swing at the trade deadline with Anunoby, believing that they could re-sign him. Things got a little hectic there, but they got it done. And then they make the other move to add on. And they may not even be done because Julius Randle is on that roster. Do they do something that maybe fit their roster better if Randle leaves to bring in another all-star? So you're looking at two all-stars there with Brunson and Randle. But could Randle be out? Could they do something else where they do keep Isaiah
I don't see how Randle fits with them. Like, I just think he's
going to net you something. You know what I mean? That's my point is he's going to bring you something back. He's probably going to bring you something back to go along that fits maybe better with the group that they have. And then that's just going to frustrate more people overall for what Leon Rose does to put that squad together by now making an extra move to move on from
that insult to injury. You got two Philly guys running it, Leon Rose and William Wesley.
With some Philly guys on their roster, no doubt. Yeah, all over the roster. All
over. My brother, we love you. First of all, my question is your cousin Jack. How's Jack handling Kale going to New York, knowing he's such a big Boston fan.
He's good with it. It was similar to if he had to be a Sixer fan, right? Because of the fact that the Boston side of things, and then there's his son side of things. No matter what uniform, what jersey he's putting on. So I was at a show on Tuesday night when everything was going down, and of course we text back and forth, and the only thing we text back and forth is I'm texting him ha 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 ha, right? I don't need to say words. He LOLs me back a few times, and that was the end of our conversation because that was what needed to be said. So he's good. Text Kale. He got back to me yesterday morning, and everybody's happy, man. His brothers are happy, and we're just trying to see it. To your point, now it's the Knicks thing. Derek said if I see a Knicks anything in this office, I didn't wear anything Brooklyn in the office, so we're good. I'm not wearing New York Knicks stuff, and I never thought I would even own any Knicks apparel, but that be the case now. And
I'll be honest with you. Put our loyalties aside, our Philadelphia loyalties aside. Not for nothing.
We're sports fans.
Right?
The uniforms.
It's pretty cool, like that. Kale's playing at the Garden, like
the Garden,
and it's like, and they're about to go on an epic run, and he'll be at the center of the big stage. I mean, it's pretty cool.
He's played in that building many a times with the Big East games that they've played, right? All those non-conference games they would play and whatever classic it would be, right, at the Garden at the beginning in November of the season. Jack would always say this after a while, and I know he wouldn't mind me saying this to you especially, when Kale would go off in the Garden all the time, and he started calling it McHale Square Garden. Because of how
that's awesome, man.
Because of how much Kale would just go off in the building. So we'll be there. I'm sure we'll be there a lot, man. It's an easier trek. It was hard in Brooklyn, man. That trying to find parking, even though we had
that Barclays the worst. Yeah.
Yes, it was really difficult. But even with us, man, we just like to take the train up to the Garden when we would go see them with Phoenix. When they would come, we would go up there. That way, take the train.
When I was working for the Post, I was still living in. I had a place in New York, but I was still living in Philly. Like I was still home.
Yep.
And I still love it because I did a lot of NBA, and so I would just jump on a train, and you're right in the Garden, like it's right there.
You just walk out and you walk up the stairs, and you're right there.
And there was like a 1:32 train back to Philly, and I used to always get that train back home.
Right.
To the game.
Yeah, so that was our thing too. When we would be there, of course, we wait for him after the game. He's taking a shower, doing his post-game stuff, and we're like, "All right, clock is ticking, man. We got a train to catch, and we only have a short amount of time."
Yeah, because the next one is until like 5:00 in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be fun. I hate the Knicks, always have, but I root for my cousin, so we'll see what happens there. Blood is blood, and it's gonna be fun, man. Like B West hit me up, so we'll be there together a lot, I'm sure. Brian Westbrook, many others hit me up because of the New York ties that a lot of people in that area. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. It was difficult, man, to see it because when it first came across, and of course you hear a little stuff, but you just wondered if the Sixers would be in the mix, and I understand the frustration with Sixer fans about not getting involved in that. And then going to a rival of the Knicks. So, of course I understand.
My brother, what a pleasure, man. Great.
Always, man.
Great. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Great work, by the way, too. Just tremendous A+ work.
4 o'clock today for round 2. 4 o'clock today for round 2.
Love it. We'll be watching. Thanks, babe.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.
The great Devon Givens.
Shouts to Sixers, our PHLY Sixers team. That was a long night last night. They're back.
They're the best.
Yeah, great coverage
They're
too.
Fantastic.
It's awesome stuff.
They are. They're just fantastic. We're brought to you by Rite Aid. Check out riteaid.com. What do you got going on?
Because we need Rite Aid this morning. Headaches, heartburn, you name it. We got it all from the Philadelphia 76ers. Guys, that's why you guys need to head over to your local Rite Aid because we're all in the same boat. We all want to know exactly what the Sixers are doing. We're feeling some type of pain over the Sixers. So for all your pharmaceutical needs, you go to Rite Aid, guys, all right? And with a My Pharmacy account at Rite Aid, you can refill your prescription, schedule a vaccine, get personalized care recommendations, sign up for prescription notifications. All you need to get started is a prescription at Rite Aid, and you can get started at riteaid.com/mypharmacy. Stop stressing about your prescriptions. Let Rite Aid refill them automatically. Enroll in automated courtesy refills. It's free, easy, and most prescriptions qualify. Talk with your Rite Aid pharmacist or sign up through My Pharmacy account at riteaid.com. Restrictions do apply. Get your prescriptions at the same time with one-trip refills. Ask your pharmacist to sync your medication so you can pick them up in one visit. You can even sync with your other family members as well. Just ask your local Rite Aid pharmacist to get started. And again, restrictions do apply. Manage prescriptions with the Rite Aid mobile app. Transfer, refill your prescriptions, set up medication reminders, enroll in prescription notifications. Download the app here today. If you're an Apple person, go to the App Store. If you're an Android person, you can find it on the Play Store here today and get started. Transfer your prescriptions to Rite Aid today. Just go to riteaid.com/transfer. Rite Aid caring pharmacists are ready to answer all of your questions and help you stay healthy. Get your prescriptions along with anything at Rite Aid you may need, including over-the-counter medicines, which we do need here, household products, cosmetics, and much more. Just ask your pharmacy team for details. And again, restrictions do apply. So if you guys have a headache, heartburn, whatever it may be, consider Rite Aid. And of course, guys, it is 10:36 in the morning here on the Anthony Gargano Show. We want to thank you guys for tuning on in. If you guys are watching live, seriously, thank you so much, guys. But make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Subscribe to PHLY Sports. And once you hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell button as well so you guys can know exactly when all of our shows are live. We're also available wherever you stream podcasts as well. Apple, Google, Spotify. Subscribe, and we would appreciate if you could leave a little rating there as well. And here's what's on the dock here today at PHLY Sports. Following us at 12 o'clock, we have PHLY Eagles going live at 1 o'clock. PHLY Flyers, listen, it's the draft eve. You know, the headache from yesterday is over. Now we focus on the Flyers draft tomorrow. That's at 1 o'clock. And then at 4, our Sixers team have you guys covered for day 2 of the NBA draft. And then tonight, we have a post-game show for the Fightins. Our PHLY Phillies team will have a post-game show after game 1 with the Miami Marlins. So make sure you guys are stay tuned to that. Guys, you see it at the bottom left if you're watching on YouTube. You want to make sure you become a diehard, all right? Because with the diehards, these are in a selective group of people who are getting exclusive content from all of our beat writers, especially with the NHL draft coming up. You want to make sure you're catching all of Charlie's draft coverage. Of course, you get discounts on merchandise. You get the access to the Discord chats as well. It's all a bunch of fun stuff. And speaking of which, speaking of those Flyers, tomorrow night, all right, the draft party's not over. We have one more this week.
Chickies and Pete's.
Chickies and frickin' Pete's, ladies and gentlemen. Crab fries, wings, you name it. We're going to have our PHLY Flyers team with the Broad Street Hockey folks. They'll be doing the draft coverage tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. We had some great raffles. Our boy Rick Sachs yesterday at the Sixers draft party won himself an autographed Dr. J
That's
basketball.
West Virginia Rick.
Yeah.
That's my man.
Yeah.
So
He's
guys,
pumped up. We got the doc.
It was a dope gift. It was an absolute dope gift. So we're going to have some more dope stuff tomorrow. You're going to find all this on allphly.com/events. And cuz that is what we got going on here today.
All right, thanks, buddy. This portion of the program brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the TrueMark Financial Credit Union difference, the credit union difference. Go to TrueMark.com/PHLY. This is my buddy Ace, one of my dear friends.
Oh, boy.
All right, you ready? Ace is a huge basketball man, like just tremendous, right?
He's dying today as well.
And I haven't missed a Sixers game in 25 years.
Wow.
And this is not hyperbole. He watches there could be a football, like I consider myself I view these teams like this. And I had this conversation this morning. I can't choose between them. People
I'm the same way.
Like Vince, in fact, Vince Pellegrini, our GM, Pellegrini says to me, hey, and I'm sorry because I was like out of my mind over the pick. Like, what are you doing, man? What is this? How are you building your team? So we're talking, and he's like, I know how much you love the Sixers. Listen to you over the years. You talk about when you were a kid and the Dr. J. And I'm like, he's like, are Sixers like your number one? I go, I'll be honest with you. Because first I went, well, I was an Eagles head, right? And I was like, well, I was a Phillies head. I was a Flyers head. Like, I treat these teams like they're my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I love my two sons evenly, right? Like, I have a different relationship with both of them. I love them like with all my heart. When you have kids, JP, someday, God spears, right?
Knock on wood.
When you have children, you're going to realize that, and it's the most beautiful thing in the world, that after you have one, you say, well, I could never love anything like this person. And then you have another one, and you realize that you have an endless capacity to love.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you, like in my life, those 4 teams, I love those 4 teams. I make no bones about it. I'm wearing my Charlie Manuel shirt, right? He means home runs.
Shouts to Skip.
But I'm a homer, right? Like I am.
Looking barrel chested too. Yeah. Working out's paying off.
All right, cuz. You're working on those push-ups.
Someone did mention you were looking swole earlier in the day.
They laugh at me because I come to the gym around the corner, the Retro Fitness.
Yeah, man, looking good.
Because
No,
It's retro fitness. He's like curling cinder blocks.
Yeah, you're right. No, but I come back, I look like a wet bot, like horrible, like like I gotta go. I trudge over there, like I gotta go work out because otherwise I'll be a blob. Because I'm prone to blobness. I love these teams, man.
I agree with that
Okay,
statement.
I love them. I love them, with, and I love them equally.
Yeah.
Like I don't put one on the other. I have a different relationship with each of the teams, right? And you love them all. That's why I created 4 for 4, right? So the ace man is all Sixers. Like he'll watch the Sixers over an Eagles game,
Really?
over an NFL game.
Like a
Like, I
playoff?
won't.
Like a playoff game?
Like over an NFL game, he'll watch it. No, he'll watch the Sixers regular season game
Okay.
over playoffs, over anything.
Wow,
That's real
I
love.
could not do that.
Yeah, no, he does that. Like I don't do that. Like
Yeah.
I watch
playoffs trump
like if
everything.
it's a Thursday night in October, November, and the Sixers are playing and there's an NFL game, I'll watch the NFL game. Unless they're playing the Celtics or
Yeah.
Like it's kind of how my mind works, right? So I kind of do that. He watches just basketball. Just basketball. So listen to this. He says, I've lost girls over basketball. He's not lying. Like they'll go, we're going to go out? And they'll be like, no, I'm watching the Sixers game. I'm
Wow.
50-50 on hanging it up on them.
Wow.
And I'm dead
Yeah.
serious.
Mm.
He goes, it's true, 100%. 50-50 I'm on hanging it up. This is something that has been a part of his life that he has put above women. He's a lifelong bachelor. And above, like, that's what he does. Loves basketball. Coaches it, play, his whole life. Loves basketball. And he's like, I'm done.
Daryl, what are
Well,
you
50-50.
doing?
It's the eel effect.
Yeah, man.
Well, the ill effect, you're right, VG.
It's terrible.
Like, here's the thing. He's being paid a Brinks truck
Yep.
of his salary.
Yeah.
He got a Brinks truck to come here from Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And got an extension, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, he's made a ton. He's a very wealthy man.
Mm-hmm.
And now's the time. You got to do, and I don't know what he can do.
Feels like he's a step behind too, cuz.
It does feel that way. I agree.
It feels like he's a step behind the rest, especially the contenders.
I know.
In this league.
It feels that way.
It's like you do-
unless he's got something in his pocket. And I'm praying the Eels got to he's got to move. He's got an ace in the hole.
He
He's
has
got
to.
it, right? Like you don't draft this kid without some type of plan. I mean, he has to. He has 2 eyes in his skull. He's got to know that Maxey and McCain do not go together. There's no way that you can put those 2
All right,
on the floor.
Skeeves, I agree.
Randy
It-
Rubart
it's-
in the chat room. The only hole Maury's ever filled is his mouth.
I hear you, Randy.
Caramel cookies.
Listen, I got you. I'm just thinking he's got to, because of that, I keep going back to the same thing. Like McCain could shoot the ball, undoubtedly. He's more of a 2 than he is a 1, right?
Yeah.
He's not a good defender, all right? And he just doesn't fit with your best player. And fit means something. Like in basketball, you need that. You need someone that can. And it's funny, if you're looking for upside, what's the upside? Because those 2 can never play prolonged minutes together.
The only thing I can think of with this, and well, this is my opinion, but there might be some writing on the wall that we don't see internally with the Sixers, and maybe he knows something about Maxey and Embiid, and maybe he's planning for the future, and that's why he brought McCain in. And maybe, just listen to me for real quick. Let me talk this through.
Just do it.
You tank for Cooper Flag.
Oh, man.
You trade Maxey and Embiid for about 8 to 9 first-round picks, and you plan for the future.
What are you doing, Andrew?
Can you cut his mic off, or is he the only one who can do that?
Worry about producing.
All right. On a serious note, besides year one, what has Daryl Morey done? Because I thought year one he made some solid trades, right? You get Seth Curry for Josh Richardson. You get rid of Al Horford's contract.
I look at it. Here's where it's not kind of what he's done in this sense, right? Like the hard, like he was saddled with a problem, and the Simmons was a problem.
I don't blame him for that trade,
right? Like, and all right, I love the Harden. You're taking a flyer on a guy who's a Hall of Fame talent that maybe would get it. You pair him with Embiid. I loved it, right?
Yeah.
Like you weren't getting. Now I don't know if you can get Halliburton or not. They say no. People I talk to say no. So whatever. All right. So he went with Harden. I had no problem with it. I enjoy. I thought it was the right move. Now I wouldn't have included Maxey in that, and I don't know how real that was, which is worrisome, right? But let's take it at face value. Move's fine. Even going into last year, trying to get those role players and trying to put some around them, I go, all right. But at the deadline, I didn't know if you could probably get Siakam. I know Kyle told us that Siakam and Nick Nurse don't really get along, right? That, but then why not get OG? Like, what? Like, you missed out on that.
Great point.
Like, you needed to try to get something that would position yourself during this period of time.
Well, we didn't have an RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickly to give the Raptors because they wanted young pieces. But I see what you're saying. I mean, like he always feels like he's just sitting there with his hands.
I mean, what's to say about marketing at that point? Like there was rumors that he was available. Well, I heard he wasn't available. I don't know. All I know is what we read. We all read that marketing was available.
Yeah.
Would he still be available with?
I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows what Danny Ainge is thinking? Yeah. But would I go all in on marketing? I would.
Yeah.
It's got a good.
I agree with you.
He's the right age.
Yeah.
Right. He's the right fit.
People don't even trust Morey to trade Embiid. They're saying they'll get a bunch of G Leaguers back.
Yeah, I was kidding with what I said. That wasn't like a real thing. I do want to see this team succeed. I'm not like
Skeeves. I'm not in the mood for jokes.
I know.
I'm not in joke mood. I'm not jokey today.
I understand. I just don't know. I don't think any of us know the direction, and it's just it's tough.
Man in the box is of course Andrew, but we call him Skeeves.
Skeeves.
Because he's the dead ringer. Skeens and Skeeves, they look, he's a doppelganger.
Skeens a little better looking. They're
Skeeves
close.
a better looking? Yeah.
Andrew's a good looking kid.
Good looking kid. Not Livy Dunn pulling. He's not pulling Livy Dunn.
Well, listen, if he's throwing 102, he could.
True.
I can.
Throwing 102.
I got confidence in you. I have confidence
in
You throw two. All right, time for VT's Nugs.
Nugs.
Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. Let's start at the draft.
I tried to help you last week. I've been on a nug kick.
You've been giving me some nugs. Yeah. Let's start with the draft. I like the Atlanta Hawks fans with the French berets because they don't know getting a French guy first or second pick.
Yeah, I love that. I thought that was actually very cool. I thought it was cool too.
Yeah, there they are.
Listen, I would be celebrating that too. We would be doing a whole big Parisian flair.
Yeah. So they were cool there, but then they showed the kid drinking a beer, and I'm out on the kid drinking a beer. He does a little
pinky? Pinky?
No. He's got a little two-hander, and he pours it from a distance into his mouth. I think we got a picture of it.
We do, yeah.
Come on, Skeeves.
I thought it was the same picture you sent me. There you go.
He does the two-hand.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm out.
Right? And he's out.
No, you can't go two-handed.
What is he, hot-twoing that thing? What's going on, VG?
Yes!
He's so weak.
Yes! You're right, JP. That's a violation. situation.
You don't two-hand a beer.
No, and then like you let it drip it, like pour it from a distance, so
Yeah,
water
like, you know,
falls
unless
into your
it's like
mouth.
his
Yeah,
buddies.
that's weird.
Super weird.
Yeah, you don't do. When you drink a beer. You don't go like even one hand, like guzzling it like that.
The only time I'm
this,
doing
that's it.
something like that is if I'm like sharing a drink with somebody and you're like a little, I don't know.
Oh, to not touch the.
So you don't
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
the lip,
Yeah,
you know?
I got you.
But even
Yeah.
still, you just one hand.
on a smoking.
You one hand.
I would be lying if I said we didn't pass the quart bottle back in the day when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But we didn't. I didn't. You just did it. Like you passed the quart.
I got one more, and then we'll get off basketball because it's such a painful thing. Turtle and Entourage at it again.
No,
Oh, I hate him.
This guy has become so annoying. If you're a Knicks fan, you didn't go to a college with a basketball you care about, you have to adopt and root for Nova. It's only right. This guy
just
irritates
stop?
me every time
Just
he tweets.
stop.
Yeah.
Stick to the
He's such a,
acting.
no, he was like not even a great character in Entourage.
Nah, he was
such a-
a strong character.
Nah, he might have been my least favorite. I like E over Turtle, I think.
He was definitely. No, you got to go Turtle over E. E was just square. You liked E?
He pulled
He was
he
just-
pulled Sloan.
Yo, Sloan was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the problem with E, though, is he got trampled on.
Turtle was just a knucklehead, though. His business moves. Anyway,
I hear you.
his Twitter.
It's filled with Knicks.
Infuriating. So you want to try?
Johnny
and do
Drama was a great character.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He was like easily. I like Vince.
Yeah, of course. Everyone likes Vince, right?
Yeah, Vince was good.
Yeah,
He was
we all
cool.
think we're going to be Vince. Like if you're going to pick a character that you're going to identify in Entourage, it's going to be Vince. Probably you want to be Vince.
Yeah, I like Johnny Drama, though.
You don't want to be Johnny Drama. Can we
I am Johnny Drama. B-lister.
try to do this? The Dodgers Twitter.
Yeah.
Did you see the bat boy kid who saved Otani's life?
Dude,
Yes.
This kid's reflexes.
I would do the same for you guys as well.
You see Otani like head for the hills, diving behind him.
I mean, and it was nice. It was two-handed catch. It was nice.
yeah.
The way he does it, like, look at that. It was good.
It's like he's done it dozens of times.
Yeah.
It's
They
like
don't
a
need Luis
superhero.
Roberts. They got their outfielder right there.
Yeah.
Put the
Crazy.
bat boy out there.
Strong.
David Dahl was on the MLB morning show.
So that was nice,
And
man.
he's talking about he played baseball with Harper on a 12 and under tournament in Alabama. Bryce went 12 for 12 with 11 home runs.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
That's so funny.
What?
12 for 12 with 11 home runs.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy about these tournaments is having been at them, you know, these kids are good. Like, you got some good talent there. And they'll pitch around you, too. 12 for 12 with 11 home runs is absurd.
It's the Harper. It's the Hopper.
Yeah, but the kid would go around. Like, do you realize
That's at 12.
at 12, like, he was the ultimate wonderkin.
Yeah.
Like, that you knew was going to, and he turned out to be the guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt when you see a kid doing that he's special.
Oh, yeah.
That he turned
There's
out to
one
be.
kid I've seen a lot of talented kids watching my son play travel ball.
Yeah.
There's one kid that I've seen that he looks like a Jim Thome type
Oh, wow.
lefty, and I think I even we played it.
Yeah, we showed a video of him. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was hitting the home run.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a Husky kid?
No.
No?
Tall, lean.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He looks like a ball player, lefty, and he's got tremendous power. Like I always got one on. I'm like, what is this? Like I would draft this kid. If I was at college, I would take a flyer on him and give him a scholarship.
Husky kid. Do you remember when pants you used to buy your jeans? You'd either be a regular,
Husky,
a
yes.
slim, or a
Husky?
husky.
Yes. Yeah, I
Like,
always had a friend.
I'm not a fat kid. I'm a husky kid.
Yeah.
I'm a 12
Not fat,
husky.
I'm fluffy.
Dude, you remember going to get pants, like dress pants,
Mm-hmm.
and they would talk about the crotch.
Yeah.
And it's a little short in the crotch. And the guy's like,
guy be there tugging at
Yeah,
it.
you're like-
super weird.
yeah, right?
You're like standing on a box.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because the shoes, the way the thing
Yes.
fell, your pants fell.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was the best. Oh, you're like, oh, my. Yeah. And you didn't know like about
No,
the
you
full-
just stand there like, this is
You
normal.
take like offensive, like, no, I'm short. What are you talking about?
no, because
Pretty big.
They would say short on the crotch.
No, yeah.
It was not that. It was more like the way the pants fell.
Yeah.
A classic.
Yeah.
So
A little short.
Schwarber's having a good June, but Otani's June is out of control.
Dude, he hit another one last night.
In June, well, let's put it in perspective. Schwarber's played 22 games. He's got 6 home runs. Otani's got 23 games with 11 home runs.
Wow.
It's like every other day he's banging a home run.
He's unbelievable. He is ridiculous.
And you got to
really
remember,
is.
he's going to come back and throw 100 miles per hour next year.
He is. What was funny? I was watching. I'm like, oh my god. You know what's interesting is the Dodgers lineup is not great. It's not a great lineup. Like you have Otani, you have Freddie Freeman, you have Mookie Betts when he's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Because he's obviously hurt. You got Hernandez, who's nasty. But after that, you got some holes.
Well, that's why they're looking at Lewis Robert Jr.
Yeah, you got some holes. But so I watch them because I keep one eye out, and it's like every night he's 2 for 3 with a home run, 2 walks, and a double.
Every night.
Are you boys ready for July 9th?
Does
that
that make
what's
something
coming
here?
in?
That's the
Wow,
series
that's
against
awesome.
them, yeah.
It's gonna be
Is
fun.
he like the best baseball player that we may have ever seen in our, like, ever? Or,
I don't know. I mean, obviously, actually, yes. If you
like,
include
Probably
his
in our
pitching.
lifetime.
in our
with the
lifetime for
pitching?
sure, but like,
I've never seen a guy. I've never seen a player with that prolific at the plate and could throw 100 miles an hour. I've never seen that.
yeah, he might be the best.
We never had that.
No. I don't even think.
I
Back
get-
in the day, the guys who did it both, I don't think they threw like
No.
they excelled at pitching the way
No,
he
I
did.
mean, it's Babe Ruth, right?
Is he like a product of like what's to come, or is he just going to be this like, this one and done type of guy?
I think he's just
I
the
don't think there's
exception,
an
man.
Otani tree.
Yeah, I don't think there is a mold of.
No.
He's the exception, man.
No,
It's
I
just-
mean,
it's just-
to be able to pitch the way he does, to
Yeah.
have that effective, we forget how great a pitcher he is. Forget about throwing 100 miles an hour. He's a great pitcher.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude's racking up strikeouts, 7, 8, 9, 10 strikeouts a game every start.
He's like legit an MVP candidate and a Cy Young
I was about to
candidate
say the
Yeah.
same.
at the same
yeah.
time.
No, without a doubt, he's the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I always thought hitter was Bonds, but he's the best. It's not even close. There's nobody like that.
Yeah, Brandon Marsh had a good game yesterday.
Yeah.
You see, there's a
Yeah,
little
he did.
kid, even in Detroit. There's a Brandon
Marsh's
Marsh kid with with the beard.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I love that.
this
That's
kid's
awesome.
I love this kid. It's
He-
amazing
fabulous.
the phenomenon of this beard and Marsh.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Unfortunately, you can't get rid of the beard or the hair. It's just like a staple of his now.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he's probably stuck with it.
Yeah.
Do you itch with your beard?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I itch and then I get like dandruff from it too. I need to like oil it or something.
Wow.
Moisturize.
if I
yeah.
trim it- if I trim it too
I'm
tight,
like
I'll get a
once. I like to grow it out a little bit and then I'll shave it off. Like I'll do like once every. I'm a stubble man.
But you got a nice head of hair, man. Like I gotta accentuate, do something fun. I got no hair. So you got to do something with the facial hair.
All right, that makes
Well,
sense.
you know,
Yeah,
but
listen,
if I trim it
you
down-
got a good beard.
If I trim it down too much,
You
it'll
could
itch.
do the. You could do the.
I used to.
Croce
Yeah, you
has
could
Pat
easily
Croce
do
has
that,
a beard
yeah.
that goes down
yeah, I
here.
used to do
You
that.
could do that.
I used to work with a guy who had a really long beard and his mustache was really long, and watching him eat soup was one of the funniest things
Every time.
because he'd have to lift up the mustache to like put the spoon in,
Yeah.
and it was just
Too
like,
much
dude,
work.
like
Yeah,
I'd
it's
be
tough.
chopping that right off.
When are you gonna do? Grow the handlebars.
All right,
Do it.
yeah.
Yeah, do the handlebars.
I'll try.
Do the handlebars because then you could really
You want
look
me to,
like
like, the
from
twirl it?
1917 villain
Get a monocle?
tying people out to the train tracks.
A pocket watch and a monocle.
Hey, want to do a back in the day moment for Rite Aid?
Let's do it, baby.
All right, I found this. This picture came up on my timeline. Do you remember the zoo had a monorail?
Yes, yes,
I
I do.
love this type of stuff. you have a
man,
picture with
they
this?
got rid of it in 1990, but they used to have a monorail that would take you through the zoo, and you and your family instead of walking around, you just hang on the monorail.
Thank God they got rid of that.
That was
Just the
cool
walk.
back
Did they convert the monorail to the tube that the tigers and like everything can walk through?
No, I don't, because that monorail went through the whole park.
Well, I mean that does
Oh,
too. Like
does
that,
it?
yeah, that big cage too
maybe.
that they
I don't
have.
know.
It goes all around the park. Like
Now I want to go to the zoo and see if there's any remnants of the monorail.
wondering if that's what that old track
cool.
was.
You remember this, Cuz?
I do. I remember it, and it was awesome. Like
Really?
yeah,
School trip, you go to
Yeah.
get in a monorail.
that was it was better. I don't know. Like, did you do school trips, JP?
To the zoo?
Where'd you go?
So the big one was always Franklin Institute. I feel like every year
everybody
we
does
go to Franklin
Franklin
Institute.
Institute, right.
Yeah, we did zoo a couple times. The Camden Aquarium.
Did you do the Betsy Ross house?
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Penn-
Yeah.
5th grade we did that, but my dad was always into the history of Philadelphia, so he
Yeah.
always used to take me to that. And anytime family or anyone would visit us here, we would always take them to all those
Yeah.
spots. Ben Frank's house, all that stuff. So I used to
Yeah.
always go there.
Alfred's Alley.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get out of here on one we can all relate to. Guy got divorced, and he had to send alimony checks. So on his checks that he sends, he put pictures of him and his new wife.
Oh my God!
So when the ex-wife would get the checks and cash them,
man.
she see how happy he was with his new wife.
Dude.
Wow,
That looks like
that's unbelievable.
Dude,
That
these
looks like Phil
divorcees are-
Mickelson in the bottom one. It looks like Phil Mickelson.
Wow, that's
Dude, these
people
divorcees are
nuts.
petty, yo.
Crazy.
Jeez
These
Louise.
people are crazy. They're insane,
The
man.
pettiness of that.
Oh my
It's hilarious.
God.
It's so funny.
You want some words of affirmation from the Pat Croce this
Yeah.
morning? So
Yeah.
Pat Croce tweeted out, "It doesn't matter what you let go of in the past. What matters is what you're holding on to in the present that may trigger your angst."
All right, I love that.
We're holding on to Maury right now.
Yeah.
Triggering all the angst.
Yeah. The eel.
And we're holding
You're
on
on the clock, eel.
Words from Croce.
We're holding on to a 6'1" guard. Yeah. That's
Oh,
why we're
dude.
miserable right now,
Hey,
Pat.
but he can shoot. Come on.
Cause
All right,
this team.
that'll do it for the show today. I wish everyone a wonderful day.
It's Flyers time. That's it. We're done talking Sixers tomorrow. Hockey.
Dude, I want Charlie O'Connor will join us. By the way,
Hell yeah.
I'm looking to. I'm into the draft. I want to see if
Well,
they can move up.
Move up. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny B has cojones unlike the eel, so that's what I'm
see.
betting
This
on
is
that.
something to be
see.
excited about.
It's a big draft for Danny. Let's see.
All right, looking forward to it.
Ishkov.
Have a great day, everybody. We love you. Be careful. Thanks. We'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.